press review. Good morning, Anambra. How are you? You had a good week because today is the last day of the working the week, and here we are bringing you the last segment of Good Morning, Anambra this week. Welcome. We'll take a break here. When we come back, I introduce my guest to you. Welcome again. Joining me this morning to look at the front pages of the Nigerian newspapers today is Ejike Abata. Ejike Abata is a journalist and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Ejike.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. All right, let's first of all begin from our website and see the stories that are trending there. The first story said Anambra State government approves fence for Nanka Aguluzibo Umona Reds orders. And then Soludo breaks the jeans, ending 21 years of darkness in Uli town and Uli campus. Anambra State government awards contract for more road projects. Jubilation in Onitsha as more households access pipe-borne water after many decades. Anambra State government launches laboratory optimization project. Jonapod pushes for more inclusive society. Anambra State government states resolve to eliminate burden of HIV transmission among children. ABGA leadership, Anambra State ESCO celebrates Supreme Court victory. Reps ask security agencies to reduce security checkpoints on Onitsha-Enugu Expressway. Ukraine sanctions stop Georgian officials to discourage support for Russia. And finally, EU calls for full implementation of National Disability Act in Nigeria. These and many more are the stories making the round from our website this morning at www.absradiotv.com. You will get details of this and more. Welcome again. Yes, Ejike. Where do we start with the stories?
There are several stories of interest on the website. But in a nutshell, I'll talk about construction of road in Anambra ongoing by the governor and the government of Anambra State. More roads are being awarded and there are some ongoing. It's a good thing. We need to open up even more. Anambra ranks as one of the top states with road network in the country. So that doesn't mean that the job is done. We'll only keep on improving. That is what the governor is doing. So it's a good one. I'd also like to talk about HIV and the transmission of HIV to children. And it's a known fact that Anambra is also high on the prevalent list.
Very scary.
And it's worrisome. I discussed on this platform with one of our colleagues. It seems we've let our guards down as regards what's going on. As regards HIV, some other things have taken over corona, diarrhea, Lassa fever, and or whatnot. So the consciousness about the presence of HIV/AIDS and how to contract it seems to have eluded so many persons, such that a state like Anambra, which ranks as the second smallest state, has high prevalent rate of HIV. It wasn't like this in the past. So we need those who are in charge. SACA should roll up their sleeves and get to work. We need to quell this before it gets out of hand. Let this sensitization begin again, so that people will understand that HIV is not a curable disease. You only manage it. So it's not as if it has gone. It's not gone. It's still with us.
And the management is not even as easy as it's
It's not as easy.
Because it has to do with all the organs of your body.
But on the other hand, government and its partners have made some of these things easy, such that if you go to the hospital, you get free antiretroviral drugs. And I can tell you, these drugs do not cost. They come at a very high cost, but people get them for free. So people, if those who are carriers should make them. So it's not a death sentence. Those who are carriers should come out and review themselves and get these antiretroviral drugs.
Okay, let's look at this, because we need to know where our problems are coming from, so that we know how to tackle it. Why would the drugs for HIV be free, but that of the hypertension, diabetes, cancer, a whole lot of things that one could be going through, is not free? Are they now encouraging us to start, living carelessly and getting contracted, and then because the drugs are free?
Whether we like it or not, most of the things we do, especially here in third world countries, are controlled by external factors. And that's because we've refused to take charge ourselves. As Africans or as Nigerians, we've refused to take charge. Like I said, these drugs were provided by partners, and these partners are not Nigerians, they're not Africans. These are NGOs from the Western world.
Can they partner with us on high blood pressure drugs, diabetes?
They have chosen what to partner, where to throw in their money.
And that is why we should be very careful with this partnership thing.
Of course, we've said this over and over again, but unfortunately we refuse to learn here. If they are not partnering, if they are not giving us drugs for high blood pressure and all whatnot, why can't we give it out free? Must we wait or always go hand in hand to them to get these things free?
Okay.
But in conclusion, as regards the stories on the website, I didn't see anything about security in Anambra State. It's something that is worrisome. The youth is here already, and this is the time. In fact, beginning from October, we should have seen an effort being made so that those who are outside the state will have the morale to come in and celebrate the Utah. But as it stands now, we've not seen any actions on ground, and we'll keep hearing of incidents and attacks and abduction or whatnot. I want to believe the government is looking towards it.
Yes, because they told us that the security issues are not usually discussed openly.
Of course, they are not discussed, so we should be seeing some things on ground, but we are not seeing anything yet. But whichever way, we just want something to be done.
Okay, thank you very much. I still want to go back to this HIV something, because I hosted their chairman here on Monday, and he told me that, he told us that the prevalence of HIV in Anambra State is very high, to the extent that Anambra State is ranking first in the whole of the Southeast. Very scary. And then ranking fifth in the whole of Nigeria, with a small population and everything about us small. We are ranking fifth out of 36 states and Abuja. Are you not rattled? Are you not scared? Then I asked him, what are you guys doing? You can't keep giving us this kind of scary statistics every year. So I know it started about 2 years ago. So what are you doing? No improvement? I don't know. Okay, but we must continue.
Hopefully something will be done.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get other stories coming from. Okay, but you're talking about security. Let's ask agencies to reduce security checkpoints on Onitsha-Enugu Expressway.
That seems to be the negative part of what I actually meant. Of course, we know that the number of security checkpoints in the southeast alone is nothing compared to what you have in the other parts of the region combined. Because the southeast seems to be the cash cow of these security agencies when it comes to mounting roadblocks and extorting citizens and disrupting their movements. So I think now should have been the time, if at all would want such things to happen, this U-turn should have been the time where we have more roadblocks on the road. Then after the U-turn, after the celebrations, you disband them. You understand? Because now, going by what is happening in the southeast, Anambra especially, because Anambra was mentioned in that report, going by what is happening, it's only justified, whichever we want to look at it, that we'll have more security persons on the road this period. You understand? It's only justified. Whether we're not talking about
special arrangement for the unit side.
As a special arrangement for the youth. We're not talking, forget about the fact of whether they are doing the right thing or whether they are doing it wrong. We are looking at the justification first before we now talk about whether what they are doing, what they are expected to do. So this is the time for us to even have more on the road, so that people will be assured of their movements as they are coming in and celebrating.
But recently, you discovered that when you move on the road now, you see the checkpoints, police checkpoints. You still also see what they call it, the vigilante staying with them. And it's new. I think I started seeing this one after the appointment of MRK as the special advisor to governor on security, of course. Sometime last month, they pledged that they're going to use kinetic and non-kinetic means of security to make sure that we are gathered here. Have you seen anything on ground to show that, that a new sheriff is in town?
Aside the joint efforts of the federal security and vigilantes, I have not seen anything. Nothing new seems to have happened. But of course, it will take time. Okay. I don't want to preempt anybody. I don't want to ask for pressure. There's need for us to mount pressure on them. But I don't want to sound pessimistic. Let's be optimistic and hope that we'll record lesser number of crime this period compared to what we have past years. Okay,
there's somebody was even saying that during Christmas period that criminality is usually very low because the criminals will have to go home back to their state to celebrate their celebrate what they have amassed from Anambra State. It's horrible, but I don't want this to continue because this place is not home for all anymore. Okay, it's home for men and women of integrity. So from January to December, he should be allowed to enjoy himself in his home homeland. It's very important to us. Okay, let's get over to the pages of the newspapers and see what's trending too. The Blueprint is our first paper this morning, and the banner headline, they said, "We won't be intimidated over tax reform bills." The Senate declares. Throughout the week, it's been tax reform, tax reform, tax reform. But we're going to see if we can get something different today. It says, only Tinubu can withdraw bill, rejigs panel to meet federal government's team. And Idris to speak on tax reforms at Kaduna NIPR AGM. I don't like the position of our leaders being autocratic in a democratic setting, okay? By saying that only Tinubu can withdraw. So we don't count again. Okay, let's continue. Troop neutralized over 500 terrorist leaders, 8,034 others in 2024. This is coming from Defense Headquarters. Arrest 11,623 and then rescue 6,376 hostages. Okay, that's all we're going to take from this paper. That's the blueprints. Let's get over to the Nigerian Tribune and see what's trending there. Blackout, Gencos, TSN, Discos in trouble, but he's in trouble anyway again. Senate threatens to reverse privatization of sector, accuses them of adding no value. Laments each grid collapse cost $25 million to restart. Oh, Nigeria, my country. Don't tell me why you're laughing. Just keep it to yourself. Other stories coming from this paper, Ibori's daughter, 4 LP federal lawmakers defect to APC. Court OK's probe offense allocated to 17 local government areas in Abia from 2019 to 2023. NEPC frowns on $480 million expenditure on importation of 3 million tons of rice. Where is the rice? The more you import, the higher the prices goes. Is that the Nigerian economic policy now? Any other story of interest here? PDP share BOT insists on zoning office to North Central. Okay, we're going to look at that when we come back. Daily Trust is our next paper this morning. Arrest moved to stop multiple budgets with a rider there. Proposed deadline for presentation. And here, on top of the NENTEM, okay, just slightly below the NENTEM, plain tax reform bills, we are going ahead for Nigeria's sake. Akpabio is saying this. Just don't tell us that. Don't patronize us. It's an executive bill, and you guys are promised that whatever comes from executive, you guys are going to endorse it. So don't just try to patronize us there. Islam, not against girl child education. This is coming from Sultan. Max airplane carrying Zulum's deputy orders makes emergency landing. Well, thank God for them. Any other story here? Ex-servicemen shot finance ministry over unpaid entitlements. Can you imagine? Look at the picture at the center of that paper. They came with their mouths lying helplessly in front of the Ministry of Finance, complaining, lamenting people that have laid down their lives for this country. There's a whole lot of things that is not going well in this country. That is tarnishing our image outside here. Okay, we must continue. Let's look at the Punch newspaper. 29 states spent 2 trillion naira on travels, orders. This is coming from reports with a writer there. State governments borrow 533 billion naira, generated 1.92 trillion naira IGR, and then service debts with 658 billion naira. Ana akpafigo. Imamore nkefo. Tax reform. Senate denies suspending debates outside Senator Smith. APC berets faction flooding Kano with Jonathan's 2027 posters. It's your guys' business. Okay, military retirees, short finance. We have seen that story. And I think that's all we're taking from the Punch newspaper. Let's look at Guardian before we start talking, please. Guardian newspaper. Ever busy, front page. National Health and Demography Survey, spike in teenage pregnancy stirs their public health, social concerns. And here, Labour fumes, vows legal actions as 4 lawmakers defect to APC. This is what I want to be hearing. Legal actions on this defections that they know is against the law. You make the law, you break it. These are lawmakers defecting to another party, and you know what the law says about that. Detained Okwama president denied in military facilities. Okay, died, sorry. Detained Okwama president died in military facility. Very, very unfortunate. Ibru, Army chief advocates military media partnership on security. And then other stories coming from here, politics, consumption, bane of education in Nigeria. Corruption plays bane of education in Nigeria, says a TED fund boss. Who is not corrupt among you? 2027, Jonathan's campaign posters flood Kano. We've seen that story. Babio counters Beru. He says tax bill on cost despite opposition. Amen. Nigeria budget under threat as OPEC extends production cost. And then I'm interested in this story. Activists seek bail for Farotimi, fault police involvement. Okay. All right. Let's get back to this tax reform and the bully nature of our lawmakers in trying to buttress their points.
You know, in the recent, there should have been a public hearing where people will come out and in as much as we have our representatives there, but when when bills like this becomes so sensitive and heated and controversial, you invite stakeholders to come and discuss, and you hear from the people and let them know what you they'll tell you what they want. If they want the bill, you are making the bill or the law for humans and not the other way around. So it behoves on them to say, okay, we've looked at what you intend to achieve with this bill, and then we think it's a good one. If not, no, we don't want such a bill. Let's even remember that the man we even brought about the bill, Mr. Taiwo, some years back, condemned a bill like this. You understand? He gave every excuses
for
in
the
the world, and
so
just justify his stand. And for Nigeria is a theater of the absorbed. The same person is the one who have come up with this bill. You understand? Just like we have Buala raining all manner of insults on Tinubu. Today, the same Buala is the person praising Tinubu. So if we have, this is a theater of the absurd. Separate. Nigerian rulers and their allies can't just take you unawares. No, except you are just coming into the country. If you are one of us, if you are part of us, you understand that these things are. Somebody says something in the morning. In the afternoon, he's singing another tune. So as even the bill in question, if we look at the bill and what it seeks to achieve, it seeks to take away, if some part of it, part of the bill says it will take away payment of tax from some persons who earn below a certain amount of money. But let us remember that tax or issue of tax is not on the exclusive list. It's on the concurrent list, which means if the federal government says, okay, this person should not pay so and so tax, the state governors still have the right and the power to send their own bill to the houses of assembly to say, pay this tax, these are the taxes that people should pay. It still falls back to what? Duplication of taxes and multiple taxation, which is what they seek to avoid in the first place. So it becomes a problem. So the bill needs to be, we need to sit down and look at the bill. And then this issue of states where companies or firms are headquartered will take more of the tax shouldn't even arise in the first instance. Because I cannot buy a product here in Anambra State and then somebody in Lagos State
collects the tax.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So who takes care of some of environmental damages that that product causes within Anambra State? So how would the state reap from it? So these are things that need to sit down and streamline, look at them. You don't just say nobody can bully you or nobody can force you nothing. Of course, we know that the former Senate president was accused to be a rubber stamp. This one has even said to be an automatic stamp.
He has not shown any difference.
You understand? So we know, you have already said that whatever the president brings, you are sent to it. But it doesn't work like that. Don't throw the nation into crisis because of your loyalty to the president instead of your loyalty to Nigerians.
To the people that elected you. Okay, let's look at it. You say something. Is there any possibility that if this bill is passed in the National Assemblies, that the state government, governors with the House of Assembly can pass another bill, maybe whittling down this one?
Like I said, part of the bill, you understand, part of the bill seeks to take away multiple taxation. You understand? And
the state government will tell you that that's what they, how they generate the
IGR. It's constitutional. You understand? It's constitutional. So the state government as well and the federal government also need to sit down and discuss, okay, if you take this tax, how much are we getting as state governors? If not, we go back and enact our own laws.
Okay. Now, let's look at the blackout. Gencos and TCN Discos in trouble as they are just telling us how much they are using to bring the national grid down and the one they're using to bring it up.
It's sad.
Is it because hairs don't roll again? That what is costing you $25 billion to do happens about 2, 3, 4 times in a week?
You can imagine. So we now, Nigeria as it stands, has spent roughly $200 million on the power sector. Not even, we are not reviving.
Not to improve.
Not to improve, just to fix.
Oh, God.
Just to fix. We've spent 200 million in a year. I'm talking about in 1 year. I'm talking about in 1 year. So we spent over $200 million. So it's sad. And we just said that privatization isn't yield the desired result. I wonder why they are realizing that in 2024. I wonder why they are realizing that in 2024. Something that was done over 20 years ago. And you are just realizing that privatization is not yielding the needed results.
And has it stopped them from privatizing other government agencies?
It hasn't stopped them. It hasn't stopped them. So I think, and this is just for them to make a statement. So it seems as if they are doing something about it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure they are doing anything, and it will only end on the statements, because those who are even in charge of these Gencos and distribution companies are not. They are those who. These are persons who also have access to the corridors of power. So they know what they did for them to be able to buy this discourse. So taking it away from them won't be that easy. So what Nigerians want is improve supply of electricity in Nigeria. Nigerians are ready to pay.
Whatever you are spending
to fix it is not
our business.
Yes, improve, give us steady power supply. And then, of course, continue spending the millions of dollars that you are spending. And no wonder why it keeps breaking down every 4 market days.
Because it's a business now.
Yes, we just realize
$25 million to fix a breakdown. So let it be breaking every day, and then the money will be flowing. That's exactly what you guys are doing with us. God day, don't worry. Okay, let's look at Daily Trust. Reps move to stop multiple budgets. Do they mean this? In a year you get what do they call them? Supplementary budgets, about 2, 3 before the year runs off.
It's funny. It's funny. Why it shows that some persons are not doing what they ought to do, especially the office of the budget office and whoever is in charge there. It shows that the person there and his team are not doing the right thing. Because budget, you need to sit down and articulate. Understand? It's about you make projections. You make projection and you forecast. This is what we are expecting. This is how much this will cost.
And mostly these things are on estimate.
This is our estimate, and this is how much.
So are you telling me that you cannot estimate how many bags of rice you will eat in your house in a month?
This is how we intend to raise the money, the funds that we will use. And I think if you look at spendings since the president came in, I'm not sure there's any budget for purchase of aircrafts. And some of these monies that have been spent, 21 billion naira for renovation of the Vice President's house, which I heard that the Vice President has never slept there in 1 day. You understand? So why won't we keep having supplementary budgets? And if, of course, it's okay if you have one supplementary budget. But when you keep having multiple supplementary within a fiscal year.
As reps members, you don't do what you're supposed to do, and you just come here to make statements. So who is questioning those budgets? Who is supervising the expenditure? Because it's not just making budgets. Because I know in those days, growing up when we were in school, there's this thing they call retirement of expense,
Oh,
you know,
expensive, yeah.
what you spend and then the one you retire.
No, they will always tell you it's not enough.
You know,
No.
so nobody is supervising anybody. The one that you budgeted for, did you supervise the execution to know whether they are, you know, whether they went where they were budgeted for?
In addition to budget padding, you know, that's a new lexicon in Nigeria, a budget padding. So these are reasons why our budgets are inflated, and they will keep coming back to seek to borrow more funds to finance the budget.
It's okay. Let's look at the predicament of the retirees, not just the military retirees, everyone. But this one, we are particular with this because of what they have gone through in life, how they have laid down their lives to make sure that we are secured here. Okay, and look at what they're going through with the ministry. So all this money that you talk about, so what will it take you to just pay these guys off?
You know, it's a pride for you to be in the military in other climes. It's a thing of pride, it's a thing of joy, knowing that should anything happen to you, your family will be taken care of. That is a motivation that even push people to go into the military, because they know that the future of their family is secured. Their family will not suffer if they pay the ultimate price while fighting for or defending the borders of the country. But it's not the same here. Let's remember that junior police officers once went on strike in Nigeria. I've not heard of that in any African country. There was a time junior police officers went on strike. I'm not talking about in a state. I'm talking about across the country. Now look at what is happening to military men. These are gallant officers who, when they come out on the street, people give them their respect. And these are people who have sworn to defend the integrity of the country using their lives. These are people who leave the comfort of their homes to sleep in deserts and sleep in forests. Some of them not even take baths for several days. And it's not as if they are even fed well. It's not as if they are fed well. So, and for some of them, they look forward to their retirement, so that when it is said at the end, justifies it, okay, now that I'm going through all this, when I retire, I'll have something to fall back on and then live a normal life like a citizen. But even the suffering never ends for them. So even after going through the hassles, and let's also remember that some of them will even have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So are we waiting for them to take up arms?
Some deformed.
Are we waiting for them to take up arms and then begin to make certain demands by taking the lives of citizens before we bring them in and sit them down and
I was
talk
actually
to them
scared when I heard about this, their protest. I got scared. I said, who knows the nature of the protest will take?
It's a problem. And imagine that we have people who are in the military today seeing their senior colleagues going through this. So what motivation are you giving them? What do you think will happen
to you when you retire?
Are you giving them? It's also a lesson for some of these military officers who are overbearing. You understand? You treat civilians as if you are treating an animal. Just remember that your future in Nigeria as a security officer is not secured. Let's be realistic about it.
Okay.
Just imagine what your senior colleagues are going through, your retired colleagues are going through. And then you see, even it's the citizens who should even come to your rescue, it's the citizens who should even come to speak for you. And you treat them like you treat animals, simply because you are done a camouflage and you have a rifle attached to you. It doesn't work like that. Because you don't know be careful the way you treat people, because you don't know where you meet them.
Now they are all bloody civilians.
That's it.
Just like us. Okay, let's continue. LP Films vows legal action as 4 lawmakers defected to APC. It was yesterday or the day before. Yesterday, the news broke about the guy, the barrel pusher in Enugu State that won on the Labour Party, how he has defected to APC. And then I asked the question when I was taking this story, the lawmakers that made law that if you defect, if you win an election under this platform and defect to another platform, you lose your position and a whole lot of things. Don't they know that the law could be interpreted on their heads?
And the question is, how many persons have defected from one political party to the other and has been successfully prosecuted? As far as I am concerned, none.
Okay.
You understand? There are conditions for defection. And one of the major conditions is there must be a problem in your party which is unsolvable. That will now prepare you to say, okay, because we are not able to resolve this problem we are having, this party is now being too toxic for me. It's affecting my position and especially and that of those who elected me. I'm not able to serve them. I need to concentrate and all of that. So I'm leaving this political party to this other political party where I will be more focused to deliver on my responsibilities to my constituents and those who elected me. But as it stands, I do not think there's any problem in Labour Party that would warrant some persons to cross carpets. But funnily enough, it still falls back on the judges, which is why Uncle Dele, as the Nigerians prefer to call him, Farotimi, is incarcerated as we speak. Because his book was talking about the ruin, the corruption in the judiciary. And that's why have we not been able to prosecute people cross carpets almost every week in Nigeria. So why have we not prosecuted some? And that is why people will always cross carpets. People will always move, defect, because there's been no repercussion, there's been no consequences for those who did it earlier. So if we've been able to prosecute one person successfully, then people will know, okay, this law, there's a law and it's been implemented.
Okay.
Understand?
All right. Finally, let's look at the travel of Farotimi, what he's going through, what they labeled him, the offense they labeled him must have committed and a whole lot of things, and how they have refused him bail.
First of all, he was charged for defamation. And according to Nigerian law, defamation is a bailable offense. And let's also remember that Uncle Dele himself is a lawyer. The person who
and a senior one for that matter.
The person who is alleged to have been defamed, Afe Babalola, a respectable member of the Sikh, perhaps he used his influence as an SAN and as an elderly statesman to coerce the police and maybe the judiciary to hold, to refuse bail for Uncle Dele, which people have asked this question. This is a bailable offense. Okay, yes, he did this, but according to our laws, this even there's a case between I can't remember somebody and a commissioner of police some years back. This is a bailable offense. It's not the first time we are
having something. Why is he being refused bail now?
Is he being refused bail now? Why is his own case different?
You see, anyway, we just have to go. But I think somebody once posited that the problem we're having in this country is the lawmakers and the law interpreters. Okay,
it's very glaring.
You make a law, the legislators and the judiciary, that's the problem we are facing in this country. You are in charge of this law to interpret it and tell us what he said, but you are breaking it. You are sitting on it. Anyways, we'll have to go for now. Thank you very much, AGK Abata, our public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Always my pleasure.
Okay. And then let's call it a day. That's week's edition of Good Morning Anambra and Press Review. Join us Monday for a fresh package. My name is Tichama. God bless you.